Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Transforming with Tracy, and I want to talk to you today about four top reasons why you may be struggling to lose weight. You might be because a lot of people are working on that all the time. You're following a nutrition plan or you're working out more or you've got joined a gym and you're going to the gym, but you feel like the scale's not moving fast enough or it's not moving at all and you're just not understanding why. And I see a lot of people get really frustrated when they feel like I'm working really hard and it's just not going anywhere. So I want to talk to you about the main reasons why that is happening to you. So, first and foremost, the biggest reason, the underlying root cause of the struggle is mindset. So, most of the time, we don't realize that we're speaking to ourselves in a negative way inside our head. Our thoughts can be very negative, and we can be telling ourselves, I'm not going to succeed, or this is too hard, or I don't have time, or I'm too tired, or I'm too stressed. Or when you're using those types of terms inside your head, you don't realize the connection that has to what actually physically happens. So it's like self-sabotage, and you are actually causing yourself to fall off the wagon without even realizing it. So it may make you be less consistent than you should have been. Like if you should be going to the gym or doing a workout 5 days a week, and you're only doing it 2 or 3 days a week because those other days you have 50 reasons why you can't do it that day because you're sore from the last workout, or like I said, you're tired, or you're busy, or you're stressed, or your kids need something. There's a million reasons that could come up for anybody of why they struggle to stay on track with a plan. But it all boils down to what you're saying to yourself inside of your head. Because, and this is something an analogy I like to use is, do you clean the toilets in your house? Do you enjoy cleaning the toilets in your house? I'm going to say no. Like, I have 4 toilets in my house. I have 4 sons in my house. I don't like cleaning the toilets, but I do it multiple times a week. Why? Because I have decided that it's important to me to have a clean house, to not have disgusting toilets. So when I say to myself that has to be done, that is a priority, then I go ahead and I do it even when I don't want to. And that's how I handle fitness and nutrition. I may not always feel like it. It may occasionally feel like it's overwhelming, or that I don't have time, or that I don't have the energy, but I know it has to be done. So it is to me a priority, the same way that cleaning my house or grocery shopping or laundry or doctor's appointments or anything else. So once you frame it as something that is that important, it does make it easier to do it and on the days that are hard. And so then you're getting in enough exercise, because most Americans are getting nowhere near enough exercise. We are maybe 5% of Americans actually get the amount of exercise that you would need to get to stay healthy. And I'm not just talking about weight loss, just general health, cardiovascular health, and bone structure and mental health, because really that boosts endorphins, it gets oxygen to your brain, it makes you be able to concentrate better. There's so many reasons that exercise is important. So once you start framing it to yourself that I'm going to do this because I have to do it for my health or for my sanity or whatever, it starts to become easier to stick with. A second reason that you may be struggling is diet. And I'm not saying going on a diet. I don't do that. I do a nutrition plan. I have a lifestyle of eating, but it's not a diet. But people don't always realize, I think, how incredibly important what you're eating is to weight loss. It's 80% of it. You can't outrun your fork. This is something I say to people all the time. You cannot outrun your fork. Exercise is extremely important, but it's not going to get you where you want to go if your nutrition is not correct. So I sometimes people reward themselves for working out by having dessert, or we overestimate how many calories we actually burned, and then we overeat and it cancels it all out. So really start to pay attention. If you can have something that monitors your calorie burn and then look at the calories of what you're eating and just see, oh my goodness, this workout only burned off, 1/10 of the meal I just ate. So when you decide that I worked out, I deserve an ice cream, you just undid everything. And so nutrition, and when I talk about nutrition, you guys, I mean, you have to be aware that just avoiding fried foods and soda and ice cream and chocolate is not, that doesn't equate to being healthy, because if you're still eating a lot of empty carbs, a lot of things that come in a box or a bag or a can with an ingredients list, a lot of processed things, you're not getting nutrients. So you're staying hungry, so you're tending to overeat. So uh, you can overeat things that you think are healthy. And there are foods, and you can Google, and find foods that are labeled as healthy that aren't really, like granola bars and things like that, and most yogurts. I don't eat dairy at all, but a lot of yogurts contain an absolute ton of sugar, and you might as well at that point eat ice cream or a candy bar because it's not any better. So that's another thing to be very aware of, is that what you are putting in your body is going to affect what you see on the scale. It just is. And it's not just about the calorie number, it's about the quality of the calorie, where that calorie is coming from, because that is also how you avoid disease. So I think it's very important for me, it's very important to realize that when you're eating, you're not just eating to lose weight, you are eating to stay healthy as well. So the number three reason is that most people do not get anywhere near enough fiber in their diet. So this goes along with what you're eating, but this is very specific. When you don't eat enough fiber, you are not regular. When you are not regular, you could be walking around with 5-10 pounds of extra waste in your intestines that can't get out because it doesn't have the fiber to move it out. So eating enough fiber, and fiber is found in vegetables and fruits. It is not found in cheese or milk or meat or eggs. Fiber is found in vegetables and fruits and whole grains. That is where the fiber comes from. So if you are not eating enough of those things, if your plate is not mostly full of vegetables and whole grains, you are not getting enough fiber. Most Americans don't get enough fiber, and by a long shot, they don't get enough fiber. So vegetables, I think fruits and vegetables account for like 12% of our typical Americans' calorie intake, and that's including French fries and ketchup as vegetables. When you take those out, it's far less. So we need to be conscious of that. That can be a reason the scale is not moving. You can clean yourself out, and you can feel a lot lighter very quickly when you start to eat a lot more fiber. Another reason that you might see the scale not moving as much is your workouts are possibly not challenging enough for you. We tend to not challenge ourselves as much as we probably could, and we just don't realize it in the moment. We think, "Oh, my heart rate's up. I got a little sweaty, that's good." Or, "Yeah, I lifted weights." But if you aren't exhausted, if your heart rate isn't up for at least 30 minutes and you're not and not everybody sweats the same, but you know what I mean? Like if you're not getting sweaty or out of breath, or when you're finished with the workout, you are not kind of like your muscles aren't kind of shaky, you didn't work that hard. If you're lifting weights and you can do all the reps in the set without a struggle, you need to lift heavier weights. Lifting weights is super important, and I encourage you, especially women, to lift weights. It's so good for you. It's going to prevent osteoporosis. It's going to keep those bone structures strong, and it's how you get toned muscle. You can't, when people say I want to tone up, if you don't lift weights, you're not going to tone up. You just need to know that. And you can do it with body weight exercises too, like push-ups and things like that, but it needs to be weight-bearing exercise. It's very, very important. So make sure that your workout is actually challenging you to the point of, if you are, and please consult a medical professional if you have any sort of health issue. I'm not telling you to go, run a marathon if you are, have a high blood pressure or something like that. You consult with your doctor first, but most of the time people do not challenge themselves. They don't realize that you are capable of far more than you think you are. And you can push yourself harder than you probably do. And that is when you start to see that progress over time. And it does take time. And that's the other thing that we have to realize. So I guess we're going to do 5 things. I said 4, but the fifth one is you have to give it time. If you are currently 30 pounds overweight and it took you 10 years to get there, it's not coming off in 3 weeks of exercising and eating right. It's going to take some time. As long as it took to put on, it's going to take, several months to a year to take off, depending on how much it is. So you need to stick with it and don't give up as soon as it gets hard. Or as when, the first couple weeks you only lost 2 pounds and say, well, this isn't working. You need to stick with it and get consistent. And if it's not moving, you need to refer back to these reasons why I said it's not moving and tweak those areas. And then you're going to see progress. So I hope this video helps. If it did, please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And have a great 4th of July. See you later.